Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I give you the Scotland Rugby World Cup squad 2011. I'd now like to hand over to Gregor Townsend, who'd like to say a few words.
I'd like to add my congratulations to the players for the selection in the World Cup, especially Chris Paterson on his 4th World Cup, and it's an amazing achievement. Well done, Chris. Great to see all the kids from the Club of Origin here today as well, especially the 4 from Gala. I think that's the most out of all the clubs. 24 years ago, I remember getting up at 3 in the morning to watch Scotland play in the World Cup, the first one in New Zealand. One of the biggest sporting events in the world, and also one of the best things you can do as a rugby player. My last playing experience with Scotland was in the World Cup in 2003. It was a tremendous tournament. One thing I'd like to say to the players is you're going to have a fantastic time in New Zealand. As a rugby country, it's unequalled. Very similar to our own in terms of the look and feel, but it lives and breathes rugby. It inspired me as a player, and I'm sure it'll inspire you all. I'd just like to pass on to Al now for a player's perspective. Thank you.
There's been an enormous amount of effort over the last 2 months from every player to get here today. But at this stage, I'd also like to mention the players who have put in just as much effort but have missed out in selection. It's because of the collective effort that's gone in over the last 2 months that the training has been such a success, and we've got such a strong squad that you can see in front of you. Our focus now has to be 100% on the World Cup. It has to be about going to New Zealand and, as a team, putting in performances game on game that everybody involved in Scotland, everybody supporting Scotland can be proud of. And we're hoping to go over there and do exactly that. And lastly, I'd like to thank you all for coming. Andy already talked about the venue being inspirational, but to see so many of you coming to wish us well is also truly inspirational, so thank you very much.
It's just for me to close the event off. All I want to say to the players, there's been some tremendous amount of hard work that's been put in, and it's to get to this stage. But what I've seen from the squad is a tremendous team spirit, a great courage for the way that they work together, and a way that I've seen from lots of teams that I've worked with in the years. But I have to say, I'm delighted that I'm able to be head coach of this squad because of the team spirit and the enthusiasm that's there with them. I know that they're going to go and do Scotland proud. I have no doubt about that. It's a fantastic group of players, and I just hope that if you can't get over to New Zealand, that you'll get up in the morning and support the team, because they will do the country proud. And I'd just like to thank every single one of them so far for the work they've put in, but looking forward to the journey ahead. So well done, guys. It's now about getting in the starting 15.
Andy, the D's been done, the 30's been picked, exciting times ahead.
Oh, it is, and we've got a couple of weeks now before the first match, so there's a lot of hard work still to be done. We're going to Australia, to Sanctuary Cove, to work hard in a good climate and to get over the travel. But then we'll be focusing on Romania as our first match.
I've never known a man keep his cards so close to his chest as you have, even from the players, which is a remarkable achievement. But it seems to have worked, doesn't it? Because we've really built up to this wonderful day where you've announced all 30 at a marvellous place like the museum.
It's brilliant that we're at the museum, and I'd like to thank them for allowing us to come here. There's a great spectacle. You can only announce a team when you're ready to announce it, and I thought for the players that they've trained remarkably well. And what you saw from the 2 games was a real consistency of performance. And even though we changed the side, there was this similar quality to the performances. There's a lot for us to do, a lot for us to improve, but there's a great attitude amongst the squad, and there's something brewing, and it's brewing nicely.
There are unlucky guys, including Greg Laidlaw as well, who was very, very nearly there.
Greg Laidlaw has been immense, and I said to all of them that I'd have no issue with them coming out if there was an injury. Them coming out and being part of the squad and competing for places. Greg Laidlaw's been exceptional in the way that he's trained. I guess it's the class that's ahead of him that is unfortunate for him to miss out. Chris Custer has been captain of Scotland with me as head coach. I've worked with him on a Lions tour, and he's a quality performer. Roy Lawson's captained Scotland 3 times, and we've won 3 great victories. And I've got to say, I think he's really developed his game and might play again. I thought had a very good performance at the weekend. He's real class as a player, and as captain of Scotland under my tutors as well. So these are guys that I've worked really closely with. I have a huge respect for the way they perform, and it's really tough on Greg, because I have no doubt that Greg Laidlaw will have a long future with Scotland if he keeps performing the way he is.
There was 14 changes against Italy on Saturday, and you guess about 4 or 5 years ago we couldn't have done that. It just shows you the strength, the depth that the squad is at the moment. Everyone capped.
Yeah, they're fighting for places, and they know that they've probably got one chance, and it's about delivering when they get that chance, and that's what's pleasing. What they have to have now is trust in myself and the coaches. I'll have a picture of how I see them playing, and that's what I'll be looking for when they go out to perform, is that they're able to deliver and be at their very best.
And it's not really far-fetched to say we can actually go on and really do well at the World Cup.
Well, we've shown over the last couple of years we've beaten 3 of the top 4 sides in the world, and some very good performances. We've known over the years, over the last 10 years, that Scotland can have the one-off performance. When you go to the World Cup, you can't have that. We've got to have the consistency of performance. And that's what this is about, is that having whoever we beat, delivering a performance and then getting up and doing it again. And then getting up and doing it again. And that's what's key for us, is that every time we go out to train, the players deliver. And every time we go out to play against Romania, Georgia, Argentina and England, that we deliver a performance. And then we can draw breath.
You've won 1 World Cup. Do you think you can do a second?
There's a lot of hard work now to be put into to each game, and we'll take each game as it comes.
Well, Alistair, there's a lot of captains in the side. Chris Cussiter, Mike Blair, Chris Paterson, all these guys have led the country, but you've got the honour of leading Scotland into the World Cup in New Zealand. Fabulous.
Yeah, it makes it a bigger honour, the fact that the leadership is so strong within the group of players that we've got going over. And I've spoken to those guys, and they've been great. They've been absolutely great. And for me personally, it's huge. It's a massive honour to be asked to captain your country at any stage, and to lead them into a World Cup is the best thing in my career so far.
Well, I spoke to you just after the Italian game. Obviously a nervous time for everybody, but it's kind of a relief now, isn't it? And it's excitement building to the World Cup.
It's a relief, but it's about a change of focus, I would call it, probably more. The last 12 weeks have been about training as hard as we possibly can, putting in performances in the test match to show Andy that we were good enough not only to go but to start. And every player has the ambition of going over there and starting and winning for Scotland.
It was very interesting, of course, the announcement made here at the National Museum, and lots of young kids, of course, involved as well. And it got me thinking, you're really salesman for the game of rugby in Scotland.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Andy talks about inspiring the nation through our winning performances, and we're 100% behind that. We've bought into that, and we know the difference that we can make when we put in good performances, and it's tangible when you speak to people on a Monday after a test match, and the excitement that builds within the country. And I thought it was great to have the kids from our clubs, to have somebody at Alan Glenn's represented today was an honour for me, definitely.
Well, we've seen how the other teams have been building towards, and Scotland 2 out of 2, and of course if you go back even further to the Italian win in the Six Nations, 3 out of 3, Georgia and Romania next, of course, and Argentina, and then England. We could get a bit of a roll going here. Well,
that's important. They talk about a winning habit. You win tight games when you've got that winning habit. We want the best performance that we can possibly get. We've not had that yet, but good performances will bring wins, and if we get those wins, then we'll take it game at a time and see where we end up.
And there's no reason why you can't go all the way.
I'll let you say that. We'll take it game at a time.
Well, obviously the players, the coaching staff, we all believe that, otherwise we wouldn't be there.
Of course, we're incredibly ambitious, but what we won't do is we won't focus on a game ahead. We'll focus on the game that's coming up. We'll focus on the training session that's coming up, and that'll take us as far as we can possibly go.
Now, that's a 17-13 split. Is that something that you thought was always going to happen?
I don't think there was anybody that knew what was always going to happen, apart from possibly Andy. It was extremely tough to get picked for the 30, and everybody knew that. The balance, I think, probably represents the teams that we're going to play against, the quality that we've got in certain areas, the ability for some of the backs to play in more than one position as well. So that's credit to them.
And talking of Andy Robinson, I mean, his cards have been so close to his chest, it's just unbelievable. I mean, is that how he's been with the players as well?
Yeah, it has, and I think it's been a really healthy thing. It's meant that the intensity about training has always been at an absolute peak. And then when you do finally realise that you've made the 30, there's an enormous amount of elation, but it's about starting and winning for Scotland as well.
So you've got a couple of days to celebrate, obviously being part of the World Cup squad, and there's a big do obviously on Thursday in Glasgow, which everyone's looking forward to. And then it's the serious stuff. It's over to Brisbane for the camp. What's actually going to happen between now and the first match?
There'll be a bit of time with the family over the next couple of days, which is important because we're obviously all going to be away from our families for a long time. We'll then come back together in Glasgow on Thursday, and we'll do a couple of training sessions through there. Every player's looking forward to the World Cup send-off dinner. It's going to be a great event. And then fly out to Australia for a training camp and making sure that we're looking at absolutely everything we need to make sure that when that first game comes around, we're in peak condition.
And it's going to be at Invercargill, -2 yesterday.
Yeah, it's going to be cold. No doubt about it. I've been over there before, and I know the conditions might be slightly variable, but we're from Scotland. We're very much used to that.
Now, because you've just said you've been to New Zealand and you've played in New Zealand. What about some of the guys who haven't? What can they expect? Because it's something a little bit different.
It will be different. I mean, I was over there as a schoolboy, and the intensity and the energy that was around the rugby was something I hadn't experienced before. Now, you couple that with a World Cup, and I'm sure it's going to be incredible, and every one of us is delighted to be involved and really looking forward to going.
Chris, many congratulations, and a record 4 times going in the World Cup.
Yeah, I was saying absolutely delighted. I think I just allowed myself a wee sort of smile when we got announced earlier on this afternoon. So a lot of hard work still to come, isn't it? You're delighted to make the 30, and as I've said before, we've trained as 38 players, and there's 8 guys missing out today, which is a difficult one to take for them. But they've worked tremendously hard. And you do think of them. But from my own point of view, I'm absolutely delighted and thoroughly looking forward to the challenges that lie ahead.
I know you love just stretching all the boundaries, but it really must have been a lot to you to go on another World Cup.
It is. I said before, I like to set goals, I like to set challenges, and this was one. And it just, I think I've always said, maybe by the time you end up finishing playing, you look back and you'll think, wow, 4 World Cups, or at least 4 World Cups, whoever knows. But at the moment, it's just the next challenge, and it's just what's in front of you, and you have to go and deliver, and you have to, get in the 30, but then get on the field, and once you're on the field, make all the people at home that will be getting up in the middle of the night and supporting us proud, and that's what I aim to do.
Gregor, it's been a fantastic day down here at the museum, and great to see the little kids, and a lot of them wearing gala maroon.
Yes, I noticed that as well. If one had came out for me, that they didn't come out with the coaches, that would have been 5. So I was counting up, and gala had the most representation, so that was great to see.
Fantastic, but it's exciting times now, isn't it? We can really look forward.
It is, and you could sense the excitement yesterday when we brought the players into the team room to say, congratulations, you're the chosen 30. And now our focus is on that first game, it's getting out there. We've had a real tough, enjoyable but rewarding 2 months training together, and players have made huge gains in their strength, conditioning, skill, and it's also very nice to see those 2 wins before we set off to New Zealand.
Just a quick word about the 8 that have been left behind, particularly Nicky Walker, 5 minutes from the plane basically, and he gets that injury. I mean, how do you console these sort of guys?
It's very hard. Nicky was certainly really down on Saturday night, was better yesterday. I did try to share with him that I went through the same thing in 1995. My last club game of the season for Gala against Hawick, it was about 10 minutes to go, and I did my knee and missed the World Cup in South Africa. It's probably tougher for Nicky because he's older. I'm sure he'll be still available in 4 years' time, but to have went through all that training to be in such good form and then to miss out is very tough to take.
Well, just one more question now. How close can we get?
Well, I think, I believe, if we play well, and we've shown over the last few months that we're developing a game that really challenges any defences. We were really pleased with our performance against England when we didn't have that much ball, and then certainly against Italy at the end of the Six Nations. On our day, I believe we can be a match for anyone. We've been 3 out of the top 4 teams in the world over the last 2 years, and we know we'll have to produce those types of performances to get through our pool, because that's going to be a real challenge. But we're going to this World Cup with full of optimism, and that winning feeling, winning our last 3 games, certainly helps.
Well, you've got the smile on the face at the moment. I'll be talking to you a lot in the next 30 days or so. Let's hope it's still there.
Yes, thanks, Stuart.